The other day I made a video on protecting your firearms. There are a couple of topics inside of that video that I want to expand upon a little further. The topic I want to discuss right now is insuring your firearms to protect them from loss or damage, be it by theft or fire. I decided I would just set up some guns here that you can look at during this little talk today. That way you don't have to look at me, you can look at these. And so just enjoy the background and we will discuss the topic here. The first type of coverage I want to talk to you about today is the policies that you can get through the NRA. Not only the free one that you get with membership, of course you have to activate it first, but also the additional coverage that you can purchase, because most of us that collect firearms cannot be happy with just the small amount of coverage. We need more than that for our collections. What I want to tell you about that policy, and I believe it's through Arms Care, is it is pretty much, in my opinion, just a scam. When I first went to insure my policy, my gun collection, I checked into their policies. I took their policy to one of the legal specialists that we worked with in a business at the time. He read it over, told me this was a sucker's policy. There were so many exemptions in it that they would never pay out on anything except under specific circumstances, and that it was many times the price of a normal policy. And since then, I've also known people that have applied to be reimbursed through the policy. And of the four I know of personally, I know of many more on the internet that have complained about not being paid. But the four I know of personally, none of them have been paid. There was different reasons. Two of them was because they didn't activate the policy on the website after they were given the free policy for being a member. The other two had different reasons, like for the circumstances the guns were stolen under, where the car was parked when it was stolen, just different reasons that I can't really remember the full details of. But I remember they were upset, and I remember them saying, well, what are you going to do? Pay $5,000 for an attorney to sue for them to pay you for your $800 gun? No, you're not. So like I say, it's really not a good policy. There's so many loopholes. It costs many times what a normal policy costs, and they tend not to pay out. So it's not a coverage I would recommend to anyone. I would recommend you get your coverage through either a renter's policy or a homeowner's insurance policy. Now, getting a homeowner's insurance policy or a renter's insurance policy is really easy and it's really, really cheap. Not only are these policies going to be better than the policies you get through the NRA and Arms Care, they have less loopholes, they have less hoops you have to jump through, they offer better coverage, better reimbursements, better track records of reimbursement. Not only are they just better policies, but they're also a lot cheaper. Like I said, when I priced the NRA coverage for a $50,000 policy, it was going to cost us over $60 a month. $60 a month. That's over $720 a year for a $50,000 policy at the time. When I went and checked on having it added to my homeowner's insurance policy, the cost was less than 1/10 of that. My cost was $64, I believe it was, a year. It was between $64 and $65 a year for the coverage. Not a month, a year. It was less for the entire year almost than it was for 1 month of the policy through the Arms Care. So not only is it a better policy, it's a lot cheaper. Now, a lot of people are worried about, well, how do I go about doing this? Well, it's real easy. You just contact an insurance agent. If you already own your home, you probably already have a policy. You just have to add a rider to your policy. Now, riders are something you have to add whenever you have something that is above a normal value of an item that would normally be found in your home. So if you have collections of something like guns or anything like that, you need to add a rider. I have riders for my animation collection, for my action figure collection, and for my guns. So it's real easy to do. Just contact your agent. He'll set it up for you. Pretty much all you have to do is sign a paper and start paying the payments. And like I say, the payments are minimal. Ours added, I think our policy went from like $32 a month for our normal homeowners policy. When we added the guns, it went to just under $38 a month. So still really, really cheap. Now, one concern I have heard from a lot of people is that they're afraid to tell their homeowners policy that they have guns. Well, that's ridiculous to be afraid of that, because most insurance companies, they just look at the numbers. They know the chances of you ever having a loss or an accident are very slim, so they know they're just collecting money for nothing, so they don't care if you have guns. Now, some of them will ask, how are they stored? How many do you have? Blah, blah, blah. But mainly all they want to know is they want a detailed record of what you have, what value it is, so that if you do have a loss, that they know you're not just claiming something that didn't exist. So that's pretty much the same with anything. So that's not a big deal. They don't really care. They're not going to drop you for that. If you have an insurance company that would drop you because you have guns, well, then go to another insurance company. I have State Farm. I've had Farmers before that. Neither of them had an issue with it, and they're both really good insurance companies. So there are so many companies out there, and they're so inexpensive that it doesn't take 15 minutes to change companies, and it doesn't take any time to change policies, and it doesn't cost you hardly anything to do it. So just find one that will cover you. Now, if you ever do have to file a claim, you might get dropped, because everyone knows insurance companies love to drop drop people after they file their initial claim because you're a higher risk now. But if you're one of these people, you're never going to need it anyway, but you will have it until you need it if you go through your homeowner's policy, and you'll have it cheap.